Everybody's got an opinion. We live in a world of opinionaires. You know, that's what I call them, opinionaires. They're all the shows, a bunch of guys, and a couple of them that have played, but most of them who haven't, who have an opinion about what something should be when they haven't done it. Those who can't talk about those who can. Those who have know what they're talking about. Those who haven't don't. Period. Too much talking. Too much talking. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody's sitting around getting fat, you know, thinking they know how to do it. Just because you can sit behind a desk and chit-chat doesn't mean you can do a damn thing.
Those are bars.
Come get up here with me. Let's find out. Come get in the gym with me. Let's find out.
I mean,
I don't know you.
We saw
But
you.
you know, I can throw my hands. I can do
saw
all.
you
I can
boxing
sure do it.
in
I
the
can
Rolls
do it
Royce.
I can do
Y'all
it for
side
real.
by side.
I don't talk about it.
Well, let me leave
I'm
you
not
on
some
this.
skinny kid, you know, who never played a day in his life, and now he can get back at everybody because he got a mic in his face and show. People need to shut up. People need to shut up. Learn how to do something. Be actually good at something. Try that.
People need to shut up. I'm trying to tell you. At first, I was like, you would have thought I text Denzel. Be like, hey, bro, can you talk to Gilly for me?
Denzel keeping it
He keeping it
real.
I mean, I don't know if this is too real, but you know, when you a OG like that,
Yeah.
you ain't even got to be petty. You
But
just-
that's what I was gonna ask. What even give Denzel the credibility to even make this statement?
Because he has accomplished something. I think there's a time that you have to come to grips with yourself as you're on the pursuit of something great. That you got to tap into something in you to keep you going.
Yeah.
And if you have not accomplished anything, we can't relate. And that's what makes the greats look at the regulars as a sign of you ain't never really committed to something that you was great in. Denzel, on one hand, has dominated the film industry and made minorities believe. He's what we call a chameleon on the screen because his fan base and his audience has been respected by all colors, creeds, and ethnicities. When you put the name Denzel Washington, starring Denzel Washington, mentioning Denzel Washington in any capacity of film, it goes from regular 89 to 93 octane. Man, scratch that. It goes straight to diesel. That's what you do when you're great at something. And I would say he did one thing wrong. That wasn't a period, and I know it was an abrupt stop. Insert exclamation point.
Okay.
Because we ain't used to seeing OG Washington talk like that. I mean, I like that. Where has this been?
Yeah.
And we have to start calling truth to certain things. Now, one of the things that I will say as a content creator and a member of the media, it's not to say that you can't do what you do, brother. It's not to say what you can't do, sister. But what I'm saying is, as a listener, certain people's mics should stay monotone to other people's mics staying on baritone. Did you hear me, brother?
I need you to say that one more time.
Certain people's mics should stay monotone. If I'm a viewer or I'm a listener, to other people's mics increasing in baritone. Because if you don't know, you can have a perspective, and I respect that. But if you've really been in this field, and you're able to really tap into something other than just the observation of a certain commodity, where you have your doctorate in experience, and you can say, oh, I know what that feels like. I know what you're going through. But you have to also be better. Or this is exceptional commodity, insert whatever, basketball, football, baseball, tennis. Then you have to cite the source. So if I'm a viewer and I'm saying, hold on, what do you know about tennis? Why should I listen to you? Oh, that's Serena talk about tennis? That's Andre Agassi talking about tennis? Tiger Woods talking about golf? But that ain't to say Tiger Woods can't critique football. It's just to say, okay, what's your point?
We're going to listen a little closer.
We're going to listen. Because even though he didn't play football, he know a thing or two about what it's going to take for an athlete to tap into his greatness. So I'm not here to tell you who you should and who you shouldn't listen to. What I am telling you is, if you got your shield with a lot of scratches and your sword with a lot of blood, you got it. Speak on it. And even if you don't, you can still make your point. And just know, it comes with heavy critique coming from the individual that you're talking about. Either way.
How do you, I guess, have the quote-unquote credentials if you did not play the game to speak on the game or criticize?
Everybody has an opportunity to make their honest opinion in their critique.
Whether you played or not.
Whether you played or not.
So how is it justified or how is it respected?
It's justified of what point and what critique you're talking about. You see what I'm saying?
No.
It's not to say that the person played bad. Okay, what's your point of why did he play bad? And that point may be valid. You ever heard of the saying, right message, wrong messenger? Depends on who you are. How we listen to Colin Cowherd may be a little different than how we listen to Ryan Clark. Everybody has different viewpoints, vantage points, and thought processes to the actual point.
Yeah.
And just because you played the game doesn't always mean that you can verbalize, articulate,
Correct.
and say it in a way that people may understand, get, because your point may not even be valid.
And it might not even be entertaining.
Hello.
That part.
It's all entertainment, baby. I said that once, and I'm going to keep saying it again until people understand. The fact that you realize that you can make a lot of money with this microphone,
Yeah.
it's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. Because did I go to journalistic school or get my degree in journalism? Absolutely not. But if you're trying to tell me about the game of football, there ain't too many people that know more football than me. Well, you got this person, you got that. Yeah, but how did they play? Can they tell you about his own read? Can they tell you what the pressure is like when you're scrambling as a dual threat? The little inkling in things that you may say, man, hey, man, how does it feel? I never was a scrambler, but I'm a quarterback and I can talk. Yeah, but bro, hold on, slow down. You don't know how you have to train and have the stamina of a receiver, the physicality of a running back, but the cerebralness, yes, SAT word. Can you use it in a sentence? No. Cerebralness of a quarterback. That's what makes Josh Allen great. That's what makes Lamar Jackson great. Patrick Mahomes, great. Those guys are able to process the game on a different dimension.
Yeah.
Make your point, Pete.
But I also have to say this to combat that. Because even if you're saying within the game of football, we take somebody like a Bill Belichick. Granted, played football, but, wasn't a star player or known to be a star player in the game of football, but a dynamic coach. Yep. And so if we take that and cross that over to the media field, you have a Stephen A., which is known to be a star analyst.
A verbal
swordsman. And granted, I know his athletic career stopped at Winston-Salem State University playing basketball. Now, I know that, when you made a point that being in the pocket, being on the field, obviously gives you a certain knowledge to be able to talk about these points. But I don't think technically it really gives you the knowledge to formulate your words and really make these points. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, only because you didn't play the game doesn't mean you're not qualified to speak the game.
Correct.
And then overall, once you make that point, do you even see in the future that both can coexist? Because now you've seen a lot of players starting to be analysts.
Absolutely.
And it's starting to die out.
And I will tell you this, and I've made this abundantly clear. You would be a fool not to watch film or to analyze how certain people make their point in a very strategic way.
Correct.
People who I admire in sports, all right? Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick. You have individuals like Emmanuel Acho, who is a former athlete. You have Nick Wright. You got Skip Bayless. And another person that I heavily studied with all those guys that I just go back and I watch and I see how their wordplay is patternized. Max Kellerman. All these individuals may not have had the illustrious career of a Tom Brady,
Correct.
of a Brett Favre, of a Patrick Mahomes. But when they speak, you just kind of, hold on. What did he say? I ain't even think about that. And when you have gigs or opportunities like an ESPN where you're able to talk about sports, just being an athlete alone doesn't qualify you to feel comfortable to be in that space. Because I respect a guy like Shannon Sharp, who had to make that transition from the field to in front of the desk.
Yeah.
Guys like Michael Strahan, guys like Terry Bradshaw, guys like Coach Jimmy Johnson. Them guys are really experts in this space.
Yeah.
I can't forget about a young man by the name of James Brown.
Yeah, James Brown. Yeah.
Very full of wisdom. And they may have played the sport a day in their life, but not to get to the epitome of how we judge success to be in sports. So having their jersey retired or not having their jersey retired, you still have to listen. Because as a listener or as a viewer of their craft, what point are you making? And now when you come into their field, you still have to answer the question, what point are you making, Cam? What point are you making, athlete? Because that right there is going to be how you're judged in this space and if you are taken serious. And I've always said every single thing that I've ever said in any type of platform was speaking into the mic. It may not be the popular pick, but it always will, and it always will stay backed by merit and logic to what I deem it to be, because it's still opinions. So with that, when you do your market analysis and you do your market research and you start talking and listening to closing arguments that a Skip Bayless may have, or a Colin Cowherd, or Jason McIntyre, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, James Brown, like all these individuals have their own distinct way of making their point. And no matter if we are on ESPN, no matter if we're in Fox, or we could just take it back to the hood, the barbershop.
Yeah.
The question is still going to be the same question. What's your point?
Yeah.
And make your point.
And just to pad the stats and like just going back to that question of, do you see a world with sports figures still commentating, but people that didn't play sports commentating? Just one thing to add of to that analogy, in which makes it the contrast so real. You do have like a Cam Newton that played the game at the highest level. But somebody like Stephen A. or Colin Cowherd, I like to just add that as, you know, those are the people with their ear to the streets, quote unquote. Like, granted, you played in the field, you took the snaps, but these are the people that's in the stands, that see the fans, are on the sidelines, to see the warm-ups of you, but also the opposing players. And they also are able to read and watch the reactions, whether you make a good play or bad play, and that brings a whole totality to their argument or their statement. So I just see that it's valuable on both sides.
Yes.
The person that's on the field, but the person off the field obviously is the voice of the masses. And I know a lot of times players, you know, not on purpose, but it is, you live a life in a bubble in regards to when you are playing. Because if you walk in a barbershop, it's going to be a lot different what people going to say to you versus if I walk in a barbershop and what people say about you instead of directly to you. So which brings a whole full circle to an argument or a statement when we were talking about sports. As I move forward, even with this, now you as a former player in the part of media, do you feel like it should be a code of ethics for athletes on how far you should go when you are critiquing a player or current players?
Yes, but before you make that point, I want to touch on something real quick because there's a code of ethic in media
Okay.
that you have to abide by, right? You have to be prepared. Just being yourself isn't enough, fortunately and unfortunately. Because the thing that I've learned, right, live TV and edited TV is two different things.
For sure.
And if people see my evolution on ESPN, which was last year, I had the opportunity to stand by two pioneers and have the willingness to learn and want critique from the Shannon, the Ryan, the Dans, the Mollies, and Stephen A's to just, hey, how I'm doing, bro? Like, let me know. And when they say things and they give you their critique and they say things like, man, get to your point faster. This live TV. This not YouTube, right? Where you can go back and edit it and say, hey, take that out and put this in and insert this. It's not edited. And when you think about your timeliness, your punchlines, and your topics and points have to be timely. The jokes have to hit.
Yeah.
Because during live TV, that's a different monster. You don't necessarily have in real time comments that's coming in outside of what they may see or they may show if they reclip it for social media. So for me, that will be a bylaw that you have to have. Still stay a student. Like the thing about me that people really don't understand is I'm a student of the game.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much of a nerd that I really was. I've always admired certain people's preparation, but I've always studied people. Hence the reason why I got my degree in sociology.
Gotcha.
I love documentaries. I love the reason of how a person was able to go further than what was the expectation for that specific person.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking about certain things, as an athlete, the unfortunate truth is this. You have to unlearn a lot of things. One of those things that you may have to unlearn in this field, and I may agree with Mr. Nazir Fard on one thing, media is a different space.
Yeah.
Your resume still goes with you no matter what.
That's true.
But the media game is a different space. Therefore, you have to be born again. And if you don't evolve and master your craft, go on and watch out. So you have to take it serious. This ain't nothing that you just sit up here and see a 2-hour first take segment where there wasn't a lot of thought. There was not a lot of preparation. There was not a lot of, conscientious effort to say, hold on, how can I get to, I think the good thing about anything, and shout out to Gilly for this, because he brings out this competitiveness that we all can relate to, especially in our culture.
Yeah.
It's all in good fun. Do I respect Gilly? Absolutely. Do I expect him and Wallow and $1 million worth of games to succeed? Absolutely. Have we both profited with notoriety off of this? Absolutely. And the same thing for anything in sports. When you are able to really control the narrative that athletes haven't always had that opportunity to do, then it puts the onus of when you are controlling your narrative, what's your tactic? What's your angle? What's your point? And as soon as you can get to that point and make your point, the better off. I think oftentimes, too many times, people just expect, oh, I can do that. Yeah, but when you get the opportunity, you flop.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining. It's not impactful. It's not educational. The thing about talking about sports and specifically about football is I've always taken the challenge And this is why you need people like you, Amari, Peggy, because you represent to me what a fan, and when you ask certain questions, they're your questions, but it really is a way for me to say, how can I simplify it for you to understand? And not playing football to the level that I've played it. I joke with it all the time, but I know this is something that a person may really want to know. And it's my job to verbalize to get them to get it.
You got to feed the masses.
You got to feed the masses, but feeding them in a way where it's digestible.
Yeah.
You may think that you can digest a full steak ribeye, but nah, I'm going to serve it to you in Gerber. Say ah.
Slap that spoon so fast.
I got you, brother. And that's the thing. And that's what makes the whole challenge media it to be so competitive.
Yeah. And I think you have another way of making your arguments or statements. I don't see a lot of, correspondents or media personalities that did not play the game break it down to X's and O's, right? Because that's not their forte.
I wouldn't say that. Because
like when you're talking about the scheme, the linebacker's supposed to do this, it depends on who it is. But
there are some people that's out there that creates great content, and it is digestible. Now the thing is this, and I recently had a conversation with Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shay, and he's always been an ally for me. He's always been a person that just, hey, do this or change this, or hey, I'm gonna give you something that you probably need to start working on. That's why I've always respected. And he said this in that conversation that we have. God is giving you a resume that forces people to listen to what you have to say.
it's true.
So when you bring that list up again, it's not for you to shun that list. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, Dan Patrick, James Brown, Jason McIntyre. It's not for you to shun them. If anything, you should say, bro, to be where you are now and to hustle and to get to this point, bro, I know that there took some time where you had to redefine yourself and understand that you got to keep getting better. And that's what I tip my hat off and I respect from each and every individual. Now, for me, it's the same thing. It's like now being a member of the media, you don't just get to say, hey, I won the Heisman Trophy, or I'm the MVP, or I'm the first pick of the draft. Like, yeah, bro, that got you in the door. Your evolution is going to keep you in the door.
Correct.
Remember that, Peggy.
I'm on it, bud.